Okay, let's take a look at some atmospheric effects, and this could be something you could add, well, anywhere across the image, across the entire thing if you wanted. What I'm thinking here is some sort of dust storm or something like that. So you could go over here to your color window, grab a linear gradient. Mine is actually already set up over here where this is yellow or dark yellow, and we've got the same color over here, but the alpha has been taken down. So there's the alpha panel, and I'm just gonna draw right across here. And of course, this gradient isn't exactly applied how I want, so what I'm gonna do is hit F on the keyboard and just click on the fill, and you should have some handlebars now to adjust. And I'll just go, I can kind of spread it evenly, I guess, across the entire image. Ultimately, what I'm going to do is just make this into a symbol and then tint it down. So I'll just call this base gradient, and yes, just tint it down to what I really want, which is just a very light color across the entire bottom portion of the screen. And that's not exactly going to wow anybody, I don't think. Let me move the, yeah, there we go. Just kind of compress it a little bit. So what you can also do is, let's go ahead and grab, I'll take the gradient off for right now, and I'll just work with this blue color. And I'm just going to grab the pen tool over here and just kind of make some sort of wavy, bendy lines like this. Don't have to overthink it. Really kind of what you're doing is making like a camouflage type pattern here. Alright, so let's just go ahead and copy and paste it. Oh, you know what? That didn't fill together, did it? Or I should say I didn't fill that in. There. Okay, now that you got this that base fill in there, just kind of copy it, put it wherever you want. Kind of looking for as much negative space in here as we have positive space, right? And I wouldn't worry too much about using the same image being used through here, because what we're going to do is we're going to blend all of this anyway. And I just don't think people are going to pick up on any sort of pattern. But if you want to be extra careful, you can always just kind of go through here and bend some lines. And once you've gotten that done, let's go ahead and just sample our color that we had before. Go back up here, select everything, fill that in. And in this case, you could leave the gradient going stronger to lighter horizontally. I think I'll probably just stick with what I had originally planned, which was something like this. And there we go. So they just kind of fade off at the top, make them into a symbol, and we'll just call this kind of dust plumes or something like that. And set the blurring up to high. And like I said, you would probably not make out what the source shape on those is now. And then I'd play around with the alpha again, and you know, it's almost kind of hard to see that something is even going on here. You could might be able to increase that a little bit by playing around with the blending. So you got add in there now, and if you were to put in another one, kind of change the size a little bit. If you do that, you might want to adjust the blurring. So you can kind of stack them down at the bottom with that add blending on there, and you kind of pile up the effect toward the bottom. And of course, one thing you might want to check, of course, is how this would look with a shape in the background. So even if it was just the black silhouette of something, yeah, you can still see it. And here we go, some cheese ball legs. Or intimidating pants. So something like that. And obviously you can tell that it does look like a kind of a dusty effect back there, and pile that up with maybe a nice blue color for the sky. Let's see. Sample a little blue over here. Actually, I could just sample the entire, or I could just change the stage color, come to think of it. There you go, so you've got something like that. And then another thing to play around with is just, don't do that, I'm just making that into a symbol so I don't mess with it, is just making some kind of random debris floating around. So again, this could be, that could be the same color that you've been using, could really just be any color. If it's in silhouette, maybe just a, I don't want to go with a full black. Let me try something like that, just a dark gray for now. And just use shapes. And of course, once you get this debris in there, you can just make it into a symbol and tint it to be whatever you want. I tend to think that debris usually looks good in clumps that oh, I keep selecting that stuff. In clumps that have kind of an origin point and then they move out like this. So for example, this one's a little big. We start sending them outward. Grab a few more at a time, speed things along. You get something like that, and then just take all of it and make it really small. You might want to leave that as a big symbol at first, just debris, and there we go. So this could be coming up from maybe where the robot is stepping at, right? It could be, gosh, it could be any number of different things. I mean, you could also just use it as some sort of something in the sky, maybe. Let's try blurring it out a little bit. Or just add it to our kind of dust effects down there. It almost looked like a little flock of birds there for a little while in the background. Let's set that to low. Yeah, I mean, you could even just kind of leave it vague like that. But I think your primary usage would be some sort of just falling debris from either the robot, maybe just picked up a big pile of dirt, maybe he just rammed his way through another robot and just pieces of that other robot are coming out of there. And you could always kind of ease off the cone nature of this by just deleting out some of those ones. So it could just be spread a little further around, in which case you don't even necessarily have to have a symbol of multiple ones. You could just have one little piece of debris at a time. That gets a little hard to work with though. I think yeah, just do a few like that. And obviously if we were to, let's say, tint the color of this to being yellow, that could blend in nicely. Let's actually make it a little darker. That could blend in nicely with our sand at the bottom of the screen. So there we go, something like this. Maybe skew it all so it sort of looks like the wind is blowing this way. And you can do the same thing even with your smoke plumes as well. or dust plumes. All right, so we got more to copy into our parts library. Let's go ahead and just take it all, and we'll find some space for it. Maybe shrink it down just a little bit. Bring that up there. And let's be sure to take our dust as well. Copy that, paste it in there. And I'll just make this all into one symbol. Let's just say dust storm. And you know, you could copy that, flip it all upside down maybe, and bring it up to the top of the stage and try using this as a just some clouds up there. Oh, that even kind of works, doesn't it? Something like that. Okay, more fun to come.